John, you are lagging so much on my end. Is everyone seeing that?
A little, yeah.
He's lagging a little.
Okay,
I'm lagging
okay.
a little. In life?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
that's the intro
that's
to the
it.
entire episode right there.
You're listening to the Media Man Dan Podcast, promoting people with passion all over the globe. This is your host, Media Man Dan. Let's rock!
What's up, guys, and welcome to the Media Man Dan Podcast. I hope you guys are ready for an amazing episode as I brought another local legend on the show for the first time. An amazing band that I got to see when I saw Broken Robots. I met these dudes, and they will blow your mind with incredible live rock music. This is Lever, straight out of Illinois. They will kick ass in every single direction. They are the most impressive band that I've heard from my area, because I don't know anyone in my area. So if you guys know great Chicago bands, help Lever have an amazing tour in the near future that they can headline to be one of the best. Welcome to the show, guys. I'm so happy to have all you guys here. We got John, the vocalist. We got Jeff, who does backing vocals, as well as amazing shredding on guitar. And we got Michael, the drummer of the band. This is Lever. Let's rock.
Hell yeah. That was great. That was awesome.
Thank you for
You should
having
just
us.
be our
sir.
hype man from now on.
Yeah. Anything
Yeah.
you need, just put it on a commercial. or
Yeah,
something.
we're having you come to every show to introduce us.
It's
Hell
official.
yeah. I'll MC anytime.
I'll send the
All right.
contract.
Yes. You gotta sign you gotta sign it in blood though.
Sign it.
Sell my soul.
Your soul is mine.
That's
Yes.
perfect.
Exactly.
No, but great to have you guys here for real, guys. You are amazing. Like I said in the pre-chat, like I feel something when I watched you guys live, and I want everybody to get that feeling when you see a band like these guys. Please tell everyone how long you've been performing, because you guys are so professional on stage.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Well, it all kind of started when Jeff, it was this late 2012, like
It's 2012. I
This-
don't remember exactly when.
yeah. But I was in between bands at the time and wasn't sure what to do. My dad told me, "Would you try looking online?" I'm like, online? I don't know. I don't want to find some random guy. Okay, he finds this website. We're looking through it, and I'm writing off so many of these people. I'm like, okay, a cover band. I don't know, country. You're twice my age, you know. And then all of a sudden, I stumble upon Jeff, who just like listed everything I loved, and was doing all this straight crazy like Hendrix Cobain shit on his guitar and all these videos. So I go to message him on this website. They're like, sign up for X amount of money. And I was like, no, I'm not signing up. So I found Jeff on Facebook, invited him to my house, and just from the first riff, I was like, we have to have a band. It was just instantly connected.
I love that.
Yeah, the chemistry was just there, musically and just like getting along with him. So
Yeah.
it worked out really well.
And yeah, so that's how it started. And you know, we had a couple different members early on, you know, trying things out, throwing stuff at the wall. And then we found John.
And it was all downhill from there.
Yeah.
Or uphill, I guess would be the terminology. I was in an other band at the time, but I became really buddies with these guys because we had similar influences and similar vibes about us, and we would play shows like side by side, and I was actually pretty unhappy in the other band, to be quite honest. And I really liked these guys and what they were doing. We just became kind of friends. At a particular point, they asked me to do we were playing a show alongside each other, and they asked me to do guest vocals because their vocalist already left. And so I started doing I did maybe 2 shows of guest vocals, and after the second show, I said, I'd like to join you guys.
Wow.
That's basically how it happened. And, you know, and that's pretty early on in Lever's career. I mean, if these guys met in 2012, my first gig with them was December 30th, 2013.
Oh wow, you got the date down.
Yes. I found
There you go.
the Penny Road Pub.
Yes, Penny Road Pub.
There you go.
It was. I still have the flyer because I remember that show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I was just doing vocals on that show too. Actually, for the first 2 shows I played in Lever, I was just doing vocals. But then we got to talking, and then it went because Lever was always a 1 guitar band up until that point for about a good year or 2 before I joined. And then when we added 2 guitars, well, it just meant that there's more songs to write between all of us. That meant there's going to be a little more of a wall of sound. Yeah, we kind of, I kind of had to. I'm not saying rewrite anything, but kind of reform some songs just by adding different layers of guitars and things like that, and different, maybe rework some words here and there, and some lyrics. But yeah, December 30th, 2013 is when I came in.
That was 13 years ago.
Sounds
in
fun to say
December.
that.
That was 13 years ago. That's how committed you are, though. You literally remember it so much so that you kept something that you can always go back to that day. You're like, I got the flyer still. That's how much this band means to you. And that's what I love to hear, is that a vocalist is not only happy to kick ass, but kick ass with people that they can see as their family or their bamily or as their jamily, I've been told as well.
Emily.
Jamily's
I like that.
Right? Pretty sick. But yeah, I love that story. I love that, Michael, you had this whole thought of like who would fit you, who would be the best choice, and you were like, I'm not going to do Craigslist for bands. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which is apparently the way to do it nowadays. But I'm glad that you found
Oh,
Jeff.
sure. And this is coming. This is a long time ago. It was so. I remember in the group I had been in before, it all just fell in my lap. And people who I had jammed with were just my friends, so trying to find somebody out of that circle I was too worried it would be lame, which is why I was hesitant. But I found Jeff and it worked out.
Yeah.
Worked out.
And Jeff is absolutely incredible. One thing I did not expect to hear from your rock and roll set was some incredible screaming, and Jeff supplied it as well as John. But when Jeff came on, I was like, wait, what the fuck? Now there's 2 vocalists that make me want to do double takes to be like, did he just make that sound? That was awesome. It was awesome to see you shred as well, man. And you guys had some heavier tracks. You had some softer tracks. There was a great mixture overall with that set that night. I would love to see what you guys have planned in the future with your live acts, but I've also seen that you are like well known to be a great live band. Back in 2019, I think it shows on your Spotify that you guys are like one of the most famous live bands in the area. That is so cool to have that title, because it not only fits, but it is also something that like other people can latch onto and be like, man, I want to tour with them. They're like the best opener or the best, main act. That's awesome.
Hey, we try, man. I try to hit the drums harder than everybody else. I try to keep up with Jeff. He's flying all over the stage. I'm like, I gotta do something. I gotta do something here.
Yeah, we just honestly try and pull out all the stops at each show. Like each show counts, even if there's like how we were talking about, like even if there's like 5 people there, it honestly probably motivates us more. It's kind of like, all right, we got to win these 5 people over. Or if someone's staring at their phone or something, we got to be like, okay, we have to get this person to pay attention and get off their phone.
Good.
So it's motivating.
Of course, we'll open up for larger bands, and we'll headline local shows too. But we're happy to fit anywhere on the bill. But you know what we love to do? We like to play first out of like a huge bill. We like to play first just to scare the fuck out of everybody. And because nobody wants to play first ever. We just got, we just got a message today by someone that said they don't want to play first at some show that's coming up in a couple months. We'll do it, and maybe not that show, but we love doing it because we're not nervous people. We have anxieties about other things in life, but when it comes to music, it's just focus, and it's just we care, and we're not afraid to like freak out a room to start the night off, especially when there's like a room with some weird energy around it. We cut right through that shit like a fucking knife. I don't care.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, my first impression of you guys was, oh, great, a nice little rock band. And then by the end of it, I was like, holy shit,
A nice little rock band.
a nice little rock band.
Playing today.
It's a nice
Little rock band.
No, I
That's
loved
great.
it, man. You guys are epic, absolutely epic.
Thank you.
John, you play bass, right?
I do play the bass. I slap at the bass. Yes.
Slap it the
You
best.
slap at the bass. How long you been playing bass, man?
So, like only a couple years. We were historically we were a 4-piece for forever.
Oh, really?
Yes. And we went down to a trio in 2022 now. So it's been a while. But I decided to sort of take it upon myself to play bass. We've been kind of writing a lot of new songs, and we've been kind of in and out of the studio for a while. And I figured while we're all focused, and the three of us are very focused on what we're kind of working on for the future, I thought maybe we just keep our focus in one place, and we just keep it the three of us moving forward. And we're going to look for a fourth member at some point. That's going to happen. I'll probably move back to guitar, but yeah, I've been playing bass like most, for 3 years, I guess now, or 4 years.
Sick. And you do it while singing. Like that's talent. I always loved guitar with singing, but bass with singing, not a common thing. I think, what is it? Muse's vocalist does that, and that's incredible. He's one of the
Sting.
best.
You got Sting.
Yep, Sting, absolutely.
Les
Legend.
Claypool.
You got Les Claypool. You got who's the best of all time. You got Jack Bruce from Cream, who's a bass player singer. You have Paul McCartney, who's a bass player and a singer. There's a lot of them. But there aren't like it's mostly a guitarist who sings or a vocalist with no instrument.
Yep.
And I think honestly that's because it's incredibly difficult. Like it's really hard to play bass and sing. You're kind of bouncing around the notes you sing as you're because you're trying to be the low end, the drop, and so to sing on top of that, you're kind of call and responsing yourself a little bit sometimes.
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
you can play with another vocalist, which is Jeff here, who is also shredding on guitar.
Yeah,
And how long has Jeff been a side vocalist? And I guess you could say the main crux of the heaviness that I was hearing live, I should say.
So like I've been playing guitar for like 20 something years, a little over 20 years.
Shit.
And I want to call myself like, I'm definitely not a singer. I'm like it's like a natural kind of primal scream. But there's no like practicing the screams. It's just kind of like you just do it. And somehow me and John are harmonizing. And when I mean somehow I'm keeping the note because I'm not a singer. You know what I mean? So
okay. I
somehow
just
it
want to
works with
say,
us.
Yeah, just show
I'm
us. Just show
I
us
don't-
a scream right now, Jeff.
yeah, do a scream.
No, I'm kidding. Don't.
Yeah. Don't have the neighbors downstairs call the cops.
They're gone. They're gone. So
hell yeah,
I could
They're out of the way.
scream.
I'll call him, Jeff.
Yeah,
Sounds
I'll
good.
call the cops. He hurt my ears
honestly,
in the headphones.
honestly, Dan, and I'm just gonna put this out there for the record. Jeff actually does have a great singing voice. FYI, he just doesn't want to use it all the time because there have been songs that we've had that has like Jeff singing them, but he doesn't always want to do it in the studio. Remember, it's the last song on Misled, Lay Low. You were gonna sing that, but we ended up kind of singing it together, and it sounds great.
Yeah,
but yes, I just want to say for the record, Jeff is a great singer, but he chooses to be the primal
Well-
screamer.
He needs
thank you.
room to do backflips.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I mean, my vocals are obviously limited. So, I mean, it's awesome to have a singer like John who's like limitless. Like he can do pretty much anything. So it's pretty awesome. It's like having Lane Staley or something.
That's insane, Jeff.
That is a huge compliment, man. Huge compliment.
I mean, the shit he does is crazy. So it's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, we
All right.
we gotta like him. We're letting him be here.
Speaking
We'll
of
be like,
Michael,
yeah,
here,
he's not very. I don't think he's very good.
I don't think he's got it. We're gonna have a whole.
We'll talk.
We're gonna have a whole talk after this podcast.
VH1 behind the music.
Michael, how long have you been smashing the drums, my friend?
I've been playing drums since it's man, it is we're just about 20 years, which is crazy. Since I was like 12, 13 years old. So that's a really crazy story, actually, how I got my drum set. So my dad played drums and when I was showing interest, he wanted to get me a drum kit, but he's like, well, I can't really afford to buy you some fancy kit, right? But I'll be damned before I buy you some cheap piece of shit. So he's like, my dad's saying his brother, he plays drums too. Let's call him. We'll ask. We'll see if he knows somebody selling a used kit. We call up my uncle, and he's like, "This is crazy. You're calling me right now because my extra drum set was in storage in my buddy's basement. It just flooded. He showed up on my doorstep today with this drum set. He said, I can't fit this in my house anymore. I need you to take it back."
Oh my God.
He's like, it's sitting on my living room floor. Like, I've been wondering what I'm going to do with it. And then you just called me asking about drums. He's like, sounds like fate. Come pick them up. And, at first he was like, we'll call it a loaner. But since I never stopped, he just said they're yours now. Keep them. And it's really lucky. They're a nice set of vintage Ludwigs. And to this day, I feel like I have the best drum set everywhere I play.
Everywhere he plays it's not only the best sounding kit, but yes, like you said, it's the fucking loudest kit in any room.
It is really loud. It's because there's something about these old 70s Ludwigs. It's like they were designed before the mics got really good. Like you needed big, loud, crazy drums to, so you didn't have to mic them.
Yeah.
So I use my mic powers to put mic on the drums.
Nice.
Yes. My favorite thing about your drums is the logo that you have for your band in the center. I tried to zoom in when I was making that video. I was like, I want to just zoom in and make it like the intro to a movie, but just zoom out of the drum. And I got to say, Lever is one of the only names I would have never thought of. So how did the name Lever come to mind as the official band name?
Oh, it was like,
We were,
it was a lot of thought. It was sitting there for a long time. What the heck are we going to do? Jeff had some ideas.
Well, we were like sitting in that room you're in, Mike.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Funny enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were sitting in that room and we were just shouting out names, like just trying to think of a band name. And I don't know how long we were doing it, maybe like half an hour or something.
Yeah. It was.
And someone said Lever, and that's the first time I think Nora said it actually.
She might have, yeah.
And that's the first time we all stopped because we were like, oh, that sounds cool. And I like the name because it's a Silverchair song. There's a Silverchair song called The Lever. So I connected that,
which is great.
Said that. And so that's kind of like how it all started. And it's gained like new meaning, I would say.
Yeah. And what I always liked about it was it being one word, which is harder and harder to claim as a band name these days. There's only so many single words that could be cool. But it doesn't necessarily pull many. Yeah, all right. It doesn't pull too many connotations. I loved it being this word that we had to define. You don't immediately know exactly what it is. And you read when the word lever, it's like, what kind of band is that? Let's figure that. Let's hear that band. I like that we had to define it. It was.
Yes.
There's a lot of band names that it really I think it could almost pigeonhole them into what their sound has to be.
I had a theory, a couple of theories, I should say, when I first saw the name. I was like, okay, well, we're all millennials. I'm pretty sure we all grew up watching Emperor's New Groove. And I was like, pull the lever crunk. Okay, that could
There's
be a
that
thing.
too.
There you go.
Yep.
That's right.
We are
That's
very,
right.
very
That's a
big
good
fans
one.
of that movie.
We are.
There you go. An incredible film that is now 20 years old. Ouch.
We watched we watched that movie when we were recording our first album. In at Treehouse, we were staying with somebody. Staying with our old bass player, and we did the thing in like a weekend. And one of the nights we watched Emperor's New Groove. So one could say our entire band's legacy is based and influenced by Emperor's New Groove.
That's no, it's true. I think we watched it every night.
Yeah, we did.
We
did.
we
That's
were
because
we
we would do it
recorded that whole
We would
weekend.
do it in sections.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
We
That's how
recorded
it was.
that weekend, and we put it on every night when we went to bed. So
Do you think it was becoming something that you were hearing so often that you were like, that's the name that was?
I mean,
going to-
we were already Lever at
you
that
already
point,
at that point.
but
But
it
I
was
like your
still
story.
our
I like your
it-
story though.
it was still us recording our first record, so it's definitely part of our origins in some way. Is what I'll say.
It's a great story.
It's a really funny story. I need to plug in my computer. Be right back.
Plug in your computer. I was also going to say there's a quote by Archimedes. I can't remember what movie it's in.
The Fantastic Four.
But he says, give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world.
Nice. That's
And
good.
so literally, you can move the world with music. How about that?
Nice.
Yeah.
I
I like that one a lot.
I like
deeper.
that. Let's go with that and not Emperor's New Groove. How about
Pull
that?
the lever, Krunk.
Also, I always felt this too. When I was 5 years old or 6 years old, my mom took me and my brother to go see Casper in theaters. If you remember the movie Casper.
Yep.
And there's a machine, and the whole reason why this big mansion is valuable is because there is a machine that can bring the ghosts back to life.
Yep.
And there was always a scene where they're about to bring someone back. I think her dad, who's Bill Pullman or something. Maybe that's the wrong scene. Anyway, the only way you could do the machine is if you pull the lever. And that's what brings people back to life who are ghosts.
That's right.
You know when he goes, pull the lever, I don't know which one, try one, and he does that whole thing. And so whenever I hear the word lever, I actually think of the end of Casper, or that part of Casper.
Oh, it's awesome.
Three meanings. Michael, you missed this one. I had a Archimedes quote. Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world. So I was alluding to the idea that your music can move the world. That's pretty sick.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yes. And now we got Casper involved. So
Yeah.
we got the 90s, we got whatever Archimedes was born in, and we got the 2000s with Emperor's
Yep.
New Groove. All those options.
That's fantastic.
You got options.
Sounds like a good barbecue.
Yeah.
But you were grabbing your laptop. What do you got?
I'm sorry? No,
You-
I just had
you-
to plug it in.
You're plugging. Okay. I was like, what
yeah,
are you doing?
I forgot how bad the battery life on this thing
Oh,
got.
gotcha.
It was fully, I normally have it plugged in, but it does not last long.
Gotcha.
Like when it's not plugged in. So
I was like, he's gonna show me some super special document, and I'm like a share screen moment.
I'm using my laptop right now. I just it should have already been plugged. That's all.
No worries. Well, either way, I'm happy that I learned so many different parts of that story. I'm happy that the entire title works for everybody. It's something that is easy to write down. Like you said, the one word name, very, very challenging to find those words. My favorite band is Red. Very, very hard to find when you are searching for it, thanks to Taylor Swift. But they're amazing. And they sound like Breaking Benjamin and Linkin Park and an orchestra had a baby. So
we opened for them.
At
Yeah.
the Rock House.
Yeah, at Rock House several years ago now. It's a great show.
what?
Is that 2018?
Yeah, I'm surprised you weren't there.
Yeah, why wasn't I there?
It was
I don't
right
know.
down the street, man. We could have met years ago. I think it was 2018 maybe, or it's probably 2017. Sounds about right. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great to know.
All
Wait,
I know
that'd
is
be-
all I know is it was pre-pandemic, before the world turned upside down for musicians, and
Yeah.
it was.
I feel like it was the first or second year they were even open.
yeah, it was.
Something like that.
It was. Yeah, it was like the year they opened, I want to say.
That makes sense because I remember it being a tiny venue when they first started, but I didn't hear about any bands that were big names yet. and I just finally saw Love Bites, which is a really well-known Japanese band, back in November at that venue. And now that I've been inside, I'm like, oh, I should have been here many years ago. Now I know I should have been there because I should have met you many years ago.
Yeah, that's wild that you know those dudes. That's a small world.
Yeah. This is exactly what I love about music, is that, you know, everyone is involved in it. And so that's why I want to go back to the amazing mastery that you guys have as a live band. You're incredible, you're talented, and you know how to move the audience. You're not afraid to play first at any show. That's all huge. But here's the most important part. As I was saying in the pre-chat, everybody can go out of their way to say they love them. Like you guys are just killing it all the time. And whenever you get merchandise, people will be able to show how awesome you are. We'll see it across the road. We'll see it at the grocery store. We'll see it down at the mall. Put it at the mall, especially Woodfield Mall. Make sure everyone goes there with a lever shirt if you get one.
Yeah, we'll get some more soon. We definitely had a whole bunch of merch. We just sold it all. Now we're in between designs, ideas, putting it off. It costs money. There's a lot of bad excuses, but
licensing,
But no, there's definitely a lot of good lever t-shirts out there. I stumble upon them here or there, people wearing them.
Excellent.
Yeah, it is very humbling when you're driving and you see a lever sticker on someone's bumper and you're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Had that experience a couple times, which is fun.
Yeah.
That's really the power of music, is just building the community, seeing the fandom that goes everywhere all the time. The best moment is when you realize that a band that you've loved for a long time, someone else has like you just said, a sticker on like the backside of their laptop or their car, and it just like makes you think, I can approach that person that I've never met in my life because I have something in common with them. Have you guys had any personal experiences like that where something was just out of this world? There's no way, once in a lifetime chance, they all lined up, kind of like how Michael met Jeff with his music taste. You guys just like, that's way. And of course, Michael with his drum set. What an incredible story, man. And thanks for sharing that. That was awesome.
It's my favorite story because it's how I got a drum set.
Yeah. It's where it all began.
It's a good story. No, yeah, I'm incredibly lucky, for sure.
Yeah. How about you, John? Do you have any stories like that where you met somebody or like happened to cross paths with someone you would have never known, but just because you had listened to the same music or watched the same movie or something like that, you were just like best friends for life?
Oh yeah. Happens all the time. It happens all the time, actually. But I got a good one. I was I went to school in DeKalb for a while. I'm like almost obsessed with like English rock. I love British rock. I love especially the 90s stuff, and I'm a big Beatle fan. Like, that's number one. But that the British rock never really, it didn't really take off in this country. But for some reason, I'm really attracted to it. And one day I was in college, and someone said, "Hey, did you hear the new?" And they mentioned some top 40 person's name. And we were all sitting together, and so this kid next to me just said, "No, I like good music." And I said, "What do you like?" And he opened his shirt up, and it was an Oasis shirt, and that's one of my favorite fucking bands. And I was like, well, we're instantly friends now, and we just, and I made a friend for life just because we like this, the same guys. And it's very rare to come across like Oasis fans that know anything past Wonderwall, in this country. So it's always interesting to be like, hey, cool, we have a whole talk about it. I still know the guy.
Awesome. Yeah, Oasis is one of the bands. I have legendary bands, like at least top 25, that I've never listened to more than just the hits. So I am unfortunately one of those Wonderwall people.
Didn't mean any offense to that. You're not unlike most people in this country. No. Like in Europe, they're gods. It's everybody knows them. They're on every T-shirt. They play in bars in England. They play Oasis on the same way they do Green Day or Red Hot Chili Peppers here. You hear them all the time. It's just a different culture over there and a different taste and different style. And it's okay. I didn't mean to offend you. I was just
no, I'm all good, man. That's true though. The impact in a different country that a band over here has, like fucking The Killers, literally the Mr. Brightside song literally changed the UK. Like everyone loves that song all of a sudden. And I'm like, the song has the same verse twice, and then
Mm,
has
yeah.
the same chorus all
Well-
3 times.
Well, dude, so does a lot of like 60s pop music. Some of the most classic songs you hear in any jukebox or any touch tones. So many of those 60s songs and 70s songs, they
Yeah.
they do repeat verses. Like it's the first verse, and then they do a different second verse, and when they come back to the third verse, it's sometimes still the first verse because it adds a familiarity. There's some people that think it's lazy, but I think there could be examples of that. But I think a lot of it is just like it brings you back to the beginning in a way, and kind of because there's that familiarity, and you know what to sing this time. Now you can all sing together, sort of thing. It's maybe
Yeah, no, you made a great point with the 60s. I was thinking as soon as you said it, I was like, the Beach Boys, wouldn't it be nice?
Thank you.
It's
That's
very,
perfect.
yeah.
Nice. It's the same thing.
It's so the same thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, I take back any criticism I have of the Killers now.
Yeah,
and
Human is still a weird song.
we
Uh,
love I love the Killers.
yeah, we're also some big Beach Boy fans too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, sure. I mean,
Hell yeah, man.
You can't get much more classic than that. I got to see him once. They opened for Ringo and his All-Star band.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, you
what?
went
I
to
went
that.
I went to Ravinia and saw them. It was amazing.
That sounds amazing. Ringo was just on tour with Steve Lukather of Toto and a couple other guys.
That's right.
And they were doing some amazing shows in Chicago. We had one of the guests, or I should say, many guests that I have in the hotel that were very excited to go and see them. And I was like, well, of course, not only is it a Beatle, but you got the guy that's like one of the best composers that nobody talks about. I'm a huge Toto fan, by the way. I should.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Toto is awesome. Toto is awesome, and that member of I can't think of his name. What's his name again? One more time. The guy
Ringo?
that's not Ringo. The guy that's in Toto.
Steve
Ringo's
Lukather.
What's Ringo's name again?
What's Ringo's name?
What's Ringo's name? Who's that one guy in the Beatles?
Yeah,
Yeah, I could spell Ringo backwards.
yeah.
But anyway,
I'm pretty sure he was touring with them when I saw him. This was maybe 4 years ago.
Solid.
But they definitely played Toto songs,
Oh yeah.
which was
Yeah.
awesome. They also had I think the keyboardist from Santana. So they did a bunch of Santana songs too.
yeah, Mike,
But-
I saw Ringo with him with the guy from Santana too, and Ringo's
Gotcha.
coming back. I think he stays with the All-Star band, that keyboardist. I can't think of his really bad. I think that was the same guy in Journey.
That makes sense.
Ernie?
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Like the 70s are kind of interesting. Like you have a lot of like people that wanted to remain successful, but in like a more commercial way in the 70s. Lots of bands who were doing like really interesting, fun stuff like Santana. A lot of the guys in Santana ended up doing Journey. And I'm not trashing Journey about being commercial, but it's very big power hits. Like they're like a power pop, rock band
Mhm.
and very successful. And they actually found a lot of success doing that with Journey. And it's cool to see them in two different carnations. You could see videos of them in Santana doing some of the weirdest some of the weirdest beats and some of the coolest guitar playing ever and most intricate work. And it's exotic, but then they go right into the 3-chord thing when it comes to the 80s, and they're great in both arenas, which is awesome.
Absolutely amazing. I am one of those simple man listeners as well. When it comes to Santana, I only know Smooth with the guy from what was that called? I forgot that band's name.
20. Yeah, Matchbox
Yes.
20.
Matchbox 20. Yes.
Rob Thomas is
Rob
thinking
Thomas.
of.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I have not delved deep into his music either. I have
I'm just
all
a
of
nerd.
these-
I'm just
Hey,
a nerd.
you know-
It's all good.
Yeah,
So-
that's the thing. Yeah, like you're even growing up, when I started playing drums, right? And I had this big music awakening and I started loving a bunch of bands. They were all a bunch of 90s bands. Everyone else was into, like the My Chemical Romance was blowing up, and then there was the whole pop punk revolution that was happening. And I got lots of respect for My Chem. I've always been like a Blink-182 fan. But in so many ways, when all that was happening, I was listening to Nirvana. And I remember blasting that record a bunch of times and then reading the back and looking him up and being like, wait, he's dead? Like, I just started diving in all the stuff I loved. I didn't even think about that it was from, 20 years prior at that point. So I was this weird kid, like and then I was also cranking Zeppelin and the Beatles. you know, that all my classmates are thinking old man bands, but I'm like, but that drummer, dude, he's amazing. So but I feel like all of us, you know, we all have a little bit of this old soul when it comes to a lot of music. We all harken back, you know, we can keep up with the old guys talking about Woodstock because we've listened to that live record 1,000 times, like, and whatever else, you know. So yeah, we're a bunch of freaks that like old music. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
That's an amazing thing to have, though. And there was actually somebody who reached out to me recently that said they wanted to have one of the guys that like focuses all of his music and his career and promotions on Woodstock. So you can inform me on everything that happened there, because all I know is the title. I don't know anything about Woodstock at all. I'm out of the loop on that, but I will give you the fact. Yes, old soul is definitely a thing. I grew up on Motown, disco.
Oh, there you go.
It's nice. Good stuff. Good
There
stuff.
you go.
Absolutely. Some of those
Oh,
old
good stuff.
classics. And so I didn't even know Britney Spears or NSYNC or Backstreet Boys were coming up when they did. I only saw it on TRL, and that's when I finally got into some modern music. But for the first 6 years,
TRL Carson Daly.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
I watched that religiously every day it was on. I watched that.
Dude, it was on before I had like a half day of like kindergarten, and so it would be on before I went to school. It was so cool. I could just sit at my babysitter's house and just come downstairs, and there would be like that big window. That's like the thing I always think of in TRL. It's like there's no other place or other shows that like film in front of a giant window with all the fans screaming outside. Like that was such a cool idea.
For a full summer, the only songs and the only artists in the top 5 on TRL were Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, NSYNC, and the Backstreet Boys. And every once in a while, the number 1 spot would go to Eminem, and it'd be like,
I was just
fuck
gonna
them
say.
all.
I was just gonna say Eminem. Yeah.
Yes.
Eminem
And I ended up growing to love all those other groups I mentioned. But it was like being a 9-year-old and like Eminem's the badass. I always rooted for Eminem to just, with his 2 middle fingers, beat them all.
Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah, absolutely. As I was pointing it out on the screen that I did.
Oh, there he is. Oh, there's Eminem. There's Eminem.
He's right there. I'm actually a huge stan of Eminem. I got into him much later, just like you guys did with some artists. In 2010, I got into recovery. I had a bad relationship, and I listened to "Love the Way You Lie," and I really related to it. And
Classic.
then "Not Afraid" took my soul, man. And I was like, holy shit, there can be positivity in rap music. What in the fuck? So I stuck with that.
And it's coming from Eminem's direction. What the hell is that?
I didn't even know who he was. I only remembered him being called Slim Shady when I was in elementary school. So I was like, who is this Eminem guy that everyone keeps talking about? So I kept
Eminem was and is so awesome. I gotta say, he was actually really early influence on me. I love hip hop. I grew up. I did love hip hop and still do it. Like it's something special for all of us, and anyone who's like our age, like maybe 29 to like, or late 20s to older, or whatever it is. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I think everybody of our age group has a soft spot for hip hop because of just how ingrained in the culture it was. And like M was my guy. I loved him. I still do.
He's still amazing. Absolutely. Yes. All right, Jeff, I have had you not speak for a while, and I'm going to have you speak now, my friend. I had the question originally for John. Was there a moment that you met somebody or related to somebody in a way that you never thought you would, and then became like really close with this person, or just like vibed with them? Was there anything that happened for you in your music career? 20 years, man. That's fucking crazy.
Well, what's funny is me and John were in the same class in college. We had like a couple classes together, but we didn't know each other. Like we didn't. What classes were we in?
We were in. It was the one where we all sat in a circle, right? Or like in kind of like a.
You sing Kumbaya?
Yeah. No,
Actually-
that was the institution, John. He's mixed up.
Oh yeah, that's it.
There was a class. We might have had 2 classes, Jeff, because you described the one that it wasn't like a circle, but it was like the desks had to kind of look at each other. One of those like really.
Yes, I know what you're talking. Yeah.
It's like one of those really uncomfortable like.
Was it a debate class?
Class setting? No, it's just a music class. It was called Music of the World.
Oh, great.
And
Yeah, you're right.
the teacher was a great guy. named Jeff Hunt. And Jeff Hunt was like this really awesome, culturally sound kind of hippie guy. And Jeff was in my class there. There was actually a really wonderful field trip we did. We went down to the ATC Theater, which is a kind of a small theater in Elgin Community College. I'm sure it's got a different name now because they did so many changes around the time. They were always, Jeff, when we were there, like that whole building was under construction, like the whole freaking time, you know?
Yeah.
What
And
year
so-
was
so-
this, by the way?
So we're talking like 2009 maybe, or 2000.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
gonna say I went to ECC in 2014, so
Yeah, and because now it's like building A, building B, building C. Back
Oh,
then
that's
they had like it's Arthur's Hall or something. They had like different people's names for each section. But anyway, we went down to the ATC Theater, and we saw these Mongolian throat singers. You could see these guys. We talk about great vocalists. This guy was singing with his throat and doing two voices with it. So he was literally harmonizing with himself. And it was about 5 or 6 of them. And yeah, this dude was insane. And like he could literally sing with out of two different parts of his throat and harmonized with himself as one voice. It made no sense.
Yeah, that's what throat singing is. Yeah, it's crazy.
I never paid attention in school, but like when they said we're going to go to this show, I was like, cool. And then that happened. And I was pretty young to even know what the hell that was. But I learned that day. I was 18. I think we were 18 or 19, Jeff.
Yeah.
Also, Jeff, and I don't mean to run the show, but Jeff and I ended up in another class where
Music theory.
I
Yeah.
sat down. This is before I met Jeff. Jeff. This is years before we got in a band together and got going. Mike, I think you know the story, but we sat down. I sat down at my desk, and it's like those desks that you have just 2-seaters, like a lab kind of setting, and it's just me in an empty seat. And one day Jeff came in, and he was in that class, and he sat down next to me, and he goes, "Dude, do you fucking get any of this?" And I was like, "No, I don't." And he goes, "I got to get out of here before I fail this class." And I get it on my GPA because I'm a musician though. And I love music. I'm a guitar player. I'm like, I know, man, I'm a guitar player too. And none of this is making sense to me. And Jeff looked at me and said, "I'm getting the fuck out of here." And he left.
Mhm.
I dropped that class.
We didn't even know then that we would end up in a band because we didn't like hang out after that. It's only like 3 years later that we ran into each other doing
that's
the whole
insane.
like playing the local circuit. And then I said, "He's familiar." And I remember you from Guitar Center. I worked at Guitar Center.
Yes.
For a while.
I remember you. Yeah.
And so like I had all these weird, interesting moments where Jeff and I intersected each other's lives, but always in like a friendly, like we're kind of like on the same page sort of thing. And it wasn't till long after we were even in a band together where I said, "I know you."
Yeah. Yep. It's funny
Oh.
how that all worked out.
It's crazy. And you want a story about you want an example of when you meet somebody because of music and you have an instant connection with people, and if that's the question. I mean, you're looking at the three of us here have connected because of our shared love for music, and that's and for the type of music we like. That's just a huge. I mean, that you're looking at it. You're actually looking at the story of like this is what it can happen when music brings 3 people together like this. Like that's, and Mike, I could speak to the same thing. We're soul brothers,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
man. That's magic. That is magic that you guys have together. I mean, you're a unit, you're a band, you're a family, you're best friends, I would hope. I did see Michael's cat,
Absolutely.
though, so he's probably in the best friend group.
You saw the cat. Yeah, that's fun. So it's my sister's cat, but she's a sweetie.
Oh, okay. I love cats. I've always been a big sucker. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I got to focus on that screen. For
Yeah, I didn't expect her to be in here, but she showed up. It's pretty funny.
There you go.
I have one slight thing to add about the college stories. So I didn't know these guys back then, but shortly before I met up with Jeff, I was in college and I was in a music theory class and I struggled. I think I passed that shit with maybe a C-, but like I struggled through music theory.
Yeah, I fucking fine.
Anyway, there was a guy who sat next to me who I kind of, we had a bit of a rapport, and he was like a punk rocker. He had like dyed black hair and tattoos, and we bonded over having no idea what we're doing. Right. We talked, and then he's like, yeah, man, I play guitar. Let's jam. Let's hang out. And I'm like, whoa, this is cool. Maybe I met this guy. And long story short, it just went so bad. It was like just a terrible jam sesh. He brought an acoustic guitar to my house, and I was like, I thought we were jamming. He's like, oh, he was like confused by that. I'm like, all right, well, luckily his guitar plugged in and I had an amp sitting around. So we plugged it in anyway. And he could do like a riff for a minute, but he would fall off and he'd have to look at his hands, and he just was not ready to jam with a drummer, like not even close. And at the end of it, he's like, that was so great, man. That was awesome. We should do this again. And I'm like, great. Now I get to sit next to you for the rest of music theory and tell you no, because you can't get through a song. Like, I don't know what, like, and he was a nice guy. Don't get me wrong. Right. But I wanted to write songs and get together with somebody. And this dude's like, just staring at his guitar, falling off, not listening to what I'm doing.
No.
Yeah, and look, we're all there sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm not knocking a beginner, but he wasn't getting that it wasn't working for me. He was like, that was awesome. Like, was it though?
It was, he was in the honeymoon phase of first time anything. Like, he was just like, this is the best moment of my life, and no matter how bad I play, it will be great.
Right. So that was one of those last straws where I was like, man, I gotta find a guy to play with, and rest is history. But
yeah, hey, it all worked out for the better though.
I had to dodge the guy sitting next to me for the rest of the semester as well.
So much like Jeff, I actually did walk out of a class as well, but I ended up transferring to a different class in which I met my best friend that I met in college. I had a few best friends before that, but this was my now current best friend. I've known him for 10 years, and we were sitting in this class, and he thought I was a total douche just by how I looked. He told me this many times. I was wearing a leather jacket, backwards red baseball cap, and I looked like I ran the place. And it was because I was so sick and tired of the last class I was in. I had to take a science because I wanted to be a music producer, and apparently that's all science based. I did not know this, just like you guys with music theory. Apparently you have to know all these things. That doesn't make any sense if you actually are a musician or a producer, or if you just
it helps with to create a universal communication, but as far as individual understanding of music, it doesn't necessarily help with that. Like, so it's like, it's great. So you can, if you learn music theory, you can easily tell your musical ideas to someone else who knows music theory. That's great. That's what it's a tool. It's not, you don't need it to write music.
No.
It doesn't hurt to know about, but because I have also taken like acoustics, hearing and music sort of class, which basically breaks music and anything that you can sense with your ears into like wave forms, and in the fashion, it's all basic physics, and it's cool to know that stuff. And I only took it because it was like a thing I had to. It was like that. I thought it was going to be like kind of just a blow off to do when I was trying to get my degree. But like, honestly, you can know all of that, and you can know every technical thing, but it's no substitute for having a soul and knowing how to put a song together and bring it to some people. It's no substitute for any of that.
Yes. Amen to that, dude. You need to have a soul for it. You need to have that spirit.
I'm telling you, as someone with no soul.
He has no soul. Oh man. But no, there was something in that sociology class I ended up transferring to that was really the defining moment. And that was when Ralph and I, we both laughed at this stupid project where we had to sit down and read a children's book, I think. And so he was in my group. And then we just realized at that moment that like we're super close in the same like general area, because at the end of the class, I was like, hey, dude, where do you live? And he's like, I live over by this spot. I was like, oh, I know where that is. I was like, you need a ride? He's like, oh, you're offering? I'm like, yeah, man. And so it was the first time I took him home and I played his favorite artist that I didn't know was his favorite artist because it was currently mine at that time. You wouldn't believe this. Machine Gun Kelly, when he was rapping, I actually liked him a lot. And so we bonded over that. And from that point on, we were bros, man. It was crazy. And
That's awesome.
it was because I switched out of the psychology class that I thought was going to be the best way to get to my degree, and I ended up not getting a degree, and I made the best friend I could ever have.
That's
there
awesome.
you go.
That's more than a degree. That's better than a degree.
That's worth more than that. The degree, yeah.
Amen
sure,
to that,
man.
man. All right, so you guys have had a little bit of a time where you're making music that is going to be different from your original music. Let's talk about your original music. You have about 5 albums altogether, if you include the live album. What is your favorite personal album that you've made?
I mean, you know, I go back and forth. Of
No pun
course,
intended.
of course I love our latest record, Douse, because you know we learned a lot over the years, and it's a really big record and a lot of great songs on it. But I have a special bond with that first one. There's little things that I could have done different or whatever, but we tracked that thing so fast, and I remember that weekend so well that I got a special relationship with the first record. But at the same time, I love the sound of our latest one. So it's a 6-7.
6-7.
I'm sorry. All right. But yeah, I that's a tough one. Yeah, I might have to say the first record's my favorite. I might have to say it, but like, I'm not knocking anything we've ever released just because it's the first one.
What
Yeah.
about you, Jeff?
I'd probably, if I had to choose, I'd probably say Douse, just because it was such a. I mean, they were all great experiences, but Douse was like special because we got to work, record an audio tree with Rick Fritz, and that was just such a great experience. And also being in that studio, it was like being like a kid in a candy store.
Oh
Like,
sure.
it was just amazing. And
Rick has endless possibilities. Like, we could have been there for another year just mixing and mastering and fucking around. Like, he's so quick. There's something to be said about that. About a producer that just knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
Someone who works so fast because they know their board, like they know the board like the back of your hand. I'm not knocking anybody we've worked with, but I have been in situations where you're working with an engineer, and you know what, there's an artistic integrity, and there's a lot of it's a great studio and it's a great guy or gal who's working with us, whatever it is. But like, man, when you could just get there with the energy ready to go and they're just set up and you're like, we're going to hit the ground running. That's Rick. That's what Rick does. And that's what we appreciate, because sometimes when you're sitting around in the studio for a while, you can like get depleted of energy and stuff like that. I can't say that really happened with any of our albums like Hoverboard or Douse, which Hoverboard was actually Treehouse Records with Barrett Gazaldo. But yeah, I think just going off what Jeff and Mike are saying, like those, it's really between those two albums. That is our like best work that's been recorded. To be different, I mean, I would just flip a quarter and say which one do I like better that way. But I guess I'll just go with I'll do it like this. I'm gonna say Audio Tree Live, because we did Hoverboard, the majority of Hoverboard, the first record. Yeah, Mike, I mean, there's such a charm to that record. It's kind of a snotty, bratty, but like thing, but it's fun, and it's like it's really well done, and it was done,
Right.
and it was really done live too.
Right. It's rough. It's rough around the edges. I think I'm far enough away from. Here's the thing. It's like I'm far enough away from that first record that any of the imperfections that I could see in my own parts or something like that, I can look at it nostalgically because it's been enough time that I can, but Douse, it's a great record, but maybe it's just the years, maybe it's just the nostalgic.
Yeah,
Douse is great though. I can't. It's still a toss up.
Well,
Yeah,
Hoverboard probably has the memories of, you know, your first creation as a team. You know, this was your whole dream originally, was to
Sure.
find the right guys and make it work, and you guys had done it. Also, great name.
Yeah.
Another thing I love above my head, Back to the Future.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
There it
So,
is.
Hell yeah!
That's the best
Anytime.
movie.
It is the best movie. Thank you, and best franchise and the best trilogy. It's all of them.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
But yeah,
100%.
I love the title of it. And so when I went in a couple of times, like I said, I restarted the discography. I'm like, okay. The third time, it was much better than my first listen. And that's just because my critical mind goes for a little break, because it's just become familiar. And the more that it's familiar, the more I want to return to it. My favorite album out of all things is the EP, I guess you could say. It's because it's not listed as the album.
Misled.
Yeah, Misled.
Oh,
I
nice.
think there's something there, and I think it's because you performed some of those songs, and so I remember the live versions in person, and that was like something I'm never gonna forget. So
There
I
you
was
go.
like, yeah,
Oh,
these
yeah.
songs are sick. Yeah,
Thank
Misled.
you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate that. Yeah, that's
Wait, you said
Nobody,
Misled?
nobody ever chooses Misled. So thank you.
Misled. There you go.
yeah. Appreciate that.
Of course. And I get to then have all 4 albums. I said 5 originally. All 4
Yeah.
albums
Yeah.
have been now mentioned.
Well, look at that.
Absolutely.
And we covered all 4 of them with the 4 of us. Mike likes Hoverboard, Jeff likes Douse, you like Misled, and I'm all about Audio Tree Live. So look,
There
Yeah.
we go.
We didn't plan this or nothing.
Bada
We
bing,
didn't plan
bada
this. We
boom.
didn't- there was no meeting.
That's fate.
It is fate.
It's fate. Fate.
Just like
in your
how we all
face.
met.
That
All
is fate
fate.
right there. All right. Well, guys, I loved everything on this chat, but I want to know what you guys have planned next for the future. What are the fans in for that love you guys? Are you going to be touring even more than you already have? What is the plan?
Take it away, Jeff.
So we're working on a new release for this year. We have kind of an idea of how many songs, but we haven't, confirmed it, I guess. But the plan is to release that, probably an EP most likely, and then have a release show for that EP, and probably do some kind of tour for that EP. And then we will be working on a full-length album after that. So that's like the tentative plans, and we're gonna keep playing live as we usually do, writing new songs and new merch, all that stuff. So
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. Yeah. Go ahead,
So
Mike.
all I was gonna say is that if we've learned anything over the years, it's about planning and pacing things out. So we've been writing songs for a while now. We've recorded a chunk of them. We want to record more. So the loose idea is to have an EP. We're gonna release an EP and maybe get some music videos going for some of those. Push that, and then get right in the studio for a full length and try and use the momentum off the EP to push the full length record, and just shoot for the sky. So we gotta, but we want to make sure we have a good start first. And there's too many things up in the air. We gotta shoot some music videos. We gotta get some artwork squared away. We gotta do it. We gotta get that merch going. Once we have more of a solid plan, it's going to be a tidal wave of content from us.
The big one that you should that we'd like everyone to take away from this whole thing is that there is an EP coming out, and you should be on the lookout for that, as well as a big EP release show. We'd like everyone to come. We're going to announce that. It'll probably be in the next couple months. There'll be an announcement. We'll see. That's kind of it's not really booked or anything yet, but the big one is that we have the EP coming out, and we want everyone to keep their eyes open. And if you're watching this and you happen to be someone who does videography or anything like that, or maybe know a few people that do anything like that, please hit us up, because we're very open to some video ideas.
Love it. I was just thinking about the videos. I was looking, actually, I was just re-looking at them right now. Gone, Gone, Gone is a song that I was obsessed with. And that one hopefully will be on the EP. Am I correct on that?
It might be. We'll see.
Might be? Okay. Okay.
We'll just
Wait
we'll
for the
leave
full-
leave it on the maybes for now.
The deluxe track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will hear it on record eventually.
Okay.
No matter what.
If you want to hear it right now, go check out the live version on my channel
There-
because I promise it's amazing.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for taking the
You-
video, by the way.
I didn't see the video. I got to see the video. I feel terrible. Okay, sorry, man.
God.
I'm gonna look at that. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, so Michael, was it you messaging me through the band account then when I was asking?
It was me.
Jeff.
That's
Thank
Jeff.
you. Thank you for that. I really needed the names, and I was trying to get them posted at the same time as Broken Robots, and he was coming in clutch. I had 2 songs only. I was unfortunately only able to record 2, but they were the most epic songs.
Thank you. Thanks for taking those
Thank you.
videos.
Yeah, we
Of course,
appreciate you, man.
Of course. Like I said, when I go to the Rock House, I'll be able to get more shots for you guys. And anything, honestly, if you guys are coming to the area, which you always are, then I'll be there. If I can be.
We'll
depending on
hopefully play the Rock House again soon. Maybe we'll even do the EP thing there. I don't know. There might be. I mean, I'm just
Could happen.
spitballing. This is not the place to spitball when we're like promoting, but I can't just say. You know, we're thinking of doing maybe like a city, like a Chicago city proper release party, as well as one in the suburbs, and we'll definitely obviously consider Rock House for the suburban show.
Rock House or
think that's a
WC
great idea.
Social Club. That's a great spot too. I've seen a lot of shows.
Yeah, we
played
We
there.
played there a few times.
That's a cool venue.
Awesome people run the social club too in West Chicago. Like it's a good crew of people there.
John, you are lagging so much on my end. Is everyone seeing that?
A little, yeah.
He's
little
lagging a
bit.
little.
Okay,
I'm having
okay.
a little, what, in life.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
that's the intro
that's
to the
it.
entire episode right there. That's
Yeah.
that's
There you
at
go.
the end of this one. Dan, remember it was like
Got it.
I don't know, an hour and a half in that we put the intro to the whole video. Lagging in life. Hilarious, guys.
Lagging in
You
life.
seriously are epic. I love your performance value. I love you guys as people. I want to thank you guys for being here on the show. For the after chat, since we still got a little bit more time, we want to dive into some movies because I didn't even think about how Hoverboard was the name of this album. And like as soon as I looked at it, I was like, why
yeah.
didn't I discuss more movies with these amazing dudes? So we'll do that in the after chat. If you guys want to see it, it will be on Patreon. Once again, this is the incredible local legend Lever that was on the Media Man
yeah.
Dan podcast. Happy to have them on anytime in the near future. Get ready for some amazing music. If you have not seen them and you need to see them live, which you do right now, go and check out their links in their bio to find all their information. I promise it's important. That's in the description right down below, where you can find their entire playlist as well with all their older music as we get ready for the new bangers. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. I hope you guys had an amazing time with me as well. And I hope you have
Sure,
an
thank you.
amazing day and stay safe out
Yeah,
there.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. Amazing show. Amazing.